Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Mysteries and News. I'm your host, Rudy the Third. Before we get started, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter using the links below. Subscribe to the channel, and if you want merch, visit the shop at shop.spreadshirt.com/insomniaccity. On today's episode, we cover some unusual methods the CIA used to obtain evidence in the Lockerbie investigation of 1988. We speak shortly about a UFO sighting witnessed by some workers off the coast near the Gulf of Mexico. A recent sighting of Nessy, the famous Loch Ness monster, has surfaced. To close the show, we'll talk at length about the recent Black Knight Satellite sightings and what it actually could be. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the viewership. Enjoy the video. Beginning to enjoy throwing in some of these old unexplained events. So here's one from 1988 that has been gaining some traction due to some recently declassified files. The CIA files have detailed some of the unorthodox methods used to investigate the bombing. The disaster in 1988 saw Pan Am Flight 103 brought down by a bomb that was hidden inside a radio cassette player, killing all 259 people on board and 11 others from the ground. A major investigation was launched to determine the cause of the explosion and to track down those responsible. According to recently released CIA documents, however, some investigators resorted to using some rather unusual methods to get to the bottom of the mystery. Of particular note was something called Project Sunstreak, a successor to Project Stargate, a long-rumored USA Army unit established in 1978 at Fort Meade, Maryland. Both projects aimed to use remote viewing and other psychic methods to gain information. Remote viewing can really be extended into its own documentary, and if you search online you can find many YouTube channels that cover the subject, so I'm just going to touch on it. Remote viewing is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen target, using extrasensory perception or sensing with the mind. There is no credible evidence that remote viewing exists, and the topic of remote viewing is generally regarded as pseudoscience. Typically, a remote viewer is expected to give information about an object, event, person, or location that is hidden from physical view and separated at some distance. According to Herald Scotland, some of the documents describe dealing with the use of psychoenergetics in the collection of intelligence information during the investigation. The notes also refer to tangibles and intangibles of more than one word, and probing sketches. The transcript from one of these sessions reads, "The stuff inside it is light, smooth, stringy air, and it is moving down, making a whoosh sound. It is speeding up as it goes down and out, and it makes me want to throw up. There is a bomb in the box and it explodes." I have posted a PDF link if you'd like to decipher the few documents available about Project Sunstreak. However, Project Stargate was a successor to Sunstreak, and there is quite a bit more information on it. Both these organizations were all traced back to Flight 103 through these newly unclassified documents. The Stargate Project was the code name for a secret U.S. Army unit established in 1978 at Fort Meade, Maryland, as previously stated, by the Defense Intelligence Agency and SRI International, a California contractor, to investigate the potential for psychic phenomenon in military and domestic intelligence applications. The project, its precursors and sister projects went by various code names: Gondola Wish, Grill Flame, Center Lane, Sunstreak, Scanate, until 1991 when they were consolidated and rechristened as Stargate Project. Stargate work primarily involved remote viewing, the alleged ability to psychically see events, sights, or information from a great distance. The project was overseen until 1987 by Lieutenant Frederick Holmes Skip Atwater, an aide and later president of the Monroe Institute and psychic headhunter. The unit was small, comprising of about 15 to 20 individuals, and was run out of an old, leaky wooden barracks. The Stargate project was terminated and declassified in 1995 after a CIA report concluded that it was never useful in any intelligence operation. Information provided by the program was vague, included irrelevant and erroneous data, and there was reason to suspect that its project managers had changed the reports so they would fit the background cues. The program was featured in the 2004 book and 2009 film entitled The Men Who Stare at Goats, starring George Clooney, although neither mentions it by name. If you'd like to dive deeper into the Lockerbie rabbit hole, I provided a link in the info section to the most extensive breakdown of what happened over Lockerbie that winter evening in late December. A group of tourists recently spotted a strange object in the legendary waters of Scotland's Loch. The footage, recorded by 35-year-old Rob Jones from North Wales, shows a dark object moving slowly across the loch towards the shoreline while a boat cruises by. Now, I'd like to stop the article here and say that I scoured the internet looking for a video from the boat's perspective shown in the clip, but I came up entirely empty-handed and couldn't find a single shroud of phone footage or anything like that from that boat down on that water that day. I don't really know what to make of it, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not depriving you of a better quality video than the one I'm showing now. Anyways, back to the article. Other tourists who were also there at the time were heard discussing the sighting in the background. I saw it quite far across the loch near the castle, but by the time I stopped the van it was very close and other people were stopped to take photos too, said a man named Jones. Sadly, I don't believe in monsters, but would love to know what it was. What do you guys think? Has Nessy returned to her stomping grounds in the loch? Was it possibly another lake dweller? Or could it have been debris in the water? The video taken that day shows the silhouette of what looks to be the monster, but it's too far to say anything conclusive about it. You guys form your own opinions and tell me in the comments what you think it was, or if you even believe in Nessy at all. I'd love for someone soon to get a nice clear picture of the real Nessy though. I've always been pretty intrigued by the legend of the Loch Ness. Reported to the National UFO Center on March 21st, UFO trackers are pleading for more witnesses to come forward. The location, Gulf of Mexico, approximately 80 miles south of New Orleans. Here's a statement according to the eyewitness report. Close to 7 p.m. on March 21st, just before dusk, myself and 4 of the crew members aboard our vessel saw a craft that appeared to be 5 times our 250-foot vessel in length. My line of sight was about a quarter mile from our vessel. There was a big rig behind the craft about a half mile. I used this to help gauge the size of the craft. Sighting was approximately 80 miles southeast of New Orleans. The scene lasted about 40 seconds. The craft rose up out of the water, about 40 feet. No water was dripping off from the craft. Within a split second, the craft disappeared at a 33-degree angle into the sky. The speed appeared to be faster than turning on the light in the room. Within seconds, it had disappeared completely. I can say for sure that the craft was dark-colored, oval in shape, and made no sound whatsoever. With as many rigs, too, there has to be more witnesses than just the 4 on our vessel. The new fork highlighted the sighting. It was just one of 246 UFO sightings received in March alone, which is very high. They reached out and spoke to the witness and believe that the sighting is legitimate. We spoke via telephone with this witness, and he seemed to be unusually sober-minded. Newfork wrote in a note added to the original report, "We suspect that he is a very capable and very reliable witness. He estimates that upwards of perhaps 50 people who were aboard nearby vessels may have witnessed the event as well. We urge those other witnesses to submit reports of what they had witnessed." I don't know, guys, that seems pretty crazy. 246 sightings in March alone? That is insanity. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Now, this story is going to be a little bit more extensive, and we'll reach the end of our journey in mystery here. The Black Knight Satellite. YouTube user UFO Hunter Streepcap1 has posted a video of images that are allegedly of the much talked about Black Knight Satellite. The images are said to have been taken from the International Space Station feed. The Black Knight Satellite is believed to be one of extraterrestrial origin. Many conspiracy theorists argue that the satellite either proves the existence of extraterrestrial beings having visited Earth, or that ancient human civilizations were far more technologically advanced than the history books would have us believe. Many skeptics, however, are quick to dismiss the claims, saying that the images of the object could indicate nothing more than a thermal blanket floating in orbit, lost during an EVA mission. According to some UFO conspiracy theorists, the Black Knight Satellite is an artificial satellite which has orbited Earth for approximately 13,000 years. However, the purported satellite story is most likely a conflation of several disconnected stories about various objects and their interpretations, all of them well documented independently, and none of them using the moniker Black Knight upon their first publication. Senior Education Support Officer Martina Redpath of Armagh Planetarium in Northern Ireland had her say about the matter. The Black Knight is a jumble of completely unrelated stories. Reports of unusual science observations, authors promoting fringe ideas, classified spy satellites, and people overinterpreting photos. These ingredients have been chopped up, stirred together, and stewed on the internet to one rambling and inconsistent dollop of myth. The origin of the Black Knight legend is often retrospectively dated back to natural extraterrestrial repeating sources supposedly heard during the 1899 radio experiments of Nikola Tesla, and long delayed echoes first heard by amateur radio operator Jørgen Haus in Oslo, Norway in 1928. The Daily Express reported, "The noises from 1899 and 1928 remain a mystery, but the possible causes do not so far include an alien." According to scientists, Brian Dunning of the Skeptoid podcast attributes Tesla's 1899 radio signals to pulsars, which were not identified until 1968. In 1954, UFO researcher Donald Kehoe told newspapers that the U.S. Air Force had reported that 2 satellites orbiting Earth had been detected. This time, no country had the technology to launch a satellite. Skeptics had noted that Kehoe had been promoting a UFO book at the time, and the news stories were likely written tongue-in-cheek and not intended to be taken seriously. A British rocket called the Black Knight rocket was used in conjunction with the Blue Streak missile program between 1958 and 1965 to test re-entry vehicles. A Black Knight satellite launcher project announced in 1964 was considered a priority by the Ministry of Aviation. The program never put anything into orbit, though, and it is unrelated to the Black Knight satellite legend. In February 1960, Time reported that the U.S. Navy had detected a dark object thought to be a Soviet spy satellite in orbit. However, a follow-up article confirmed that the object was the remains of an Air Force Discoverer 8 satellite that had gone astray. Then, in 1963, astronaut Gordon Cooper supposedly reported a UFO sighting, his 15th orbit in Mercury 9, that was confirmed by tracking stations. But there's no evidence that supports this actually happened. Neither NASA's mission transcripts nor Cooper's personal copies show any such report being made during the orbit. Finally, in 1973, Scottish author Duncan Lunan analyzed the long-delayed radio echoes received by Hales and others and speculated that they could possibly originate from a 13,000-old alien space probe located in orbit around Earth's moon. He suggested that the probe may have originated from a planet located in the solar system of star Epsilon Bootis. Lunan later retracted his conclusions, admitting that he had made outright errors and that his methods had been unscientific. So after that extensive look into the Black Knight Satellite, I concluded that it's probably just another satellite that's in that dead zone out there. Maybe somehow got bumped by an asteroid or something and it floated into the ISS satellite feed. I mean, really, it could be anything. The thermal blanket thing sounds pretty spot on, that it's just like floating out there. Anyways, guys, you guys tell me in the comments what you think about that whole scenario. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of Mysteries and News. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed recording it and editing it together for you guys. Probably my most technologically advanced episode yet. Just because I inserted video. Anyway, you guys have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the episode and everything. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and all that stuff is in the links below. I've got cards going if you guys want to hit the shop and all that. I love you all. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week on Mysteries and News.